Hey, happy people! So today we are going to be making cheese. And not just any cheese, it's an alkaline cheese. And we should be able to shred this and slice it and melt it in the end. So stay tuned. Let's see if we can make an alkaline cheese.
Stress. Check it out.
Alright, so alkaline cheese. So what we're going to do today is make a cheese and see if we can actually make it hard enough to shred and be able to melt. That is going to be the thing. So we have a lot of ingredients here for this, and we're going to try to make one and see how it turns out. If it don't work, y'all will never see this video, so I won't worry about it. Alright, so first thing you're going to need to do is you need to cook your chickpeas. If you don't already have chickpeas cooked, you're going to need to cook your butternut squash. This is just one butternut squash. It ended up being 1.5 cups once it was cooked, and I scooped it out of the shell. All you have to do is split your butternut squash down the middle, brush it with a little grapeseed oil or whatever type of oil you want to use, and sprinkle it with just a little sea salt. Don't use anything else because you don't want to actually season it, because you're going to use it with other seasonings here. Your red bell pepper, you will need to roast it. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I find that it's better flavor when you roast it. Some soaked walnuts and some soaked Brazil nuts. Now, I soaked these long enough for the skins would come off. Like the walnuts are very light. Like basically I soaked them so long that all the brown just moved to the bottom, and that was easy. But the Brazil nuts, it took a little time. Like even though most of it peeled off, I had to peel a little bit off myself, and there's still little pieces on there. But this will stop your cheese from having those little brown flakes in it. If you want a smooth looking cheese, if you don't care, sometimes I don't care. I just throw all that in there, and it is what it is because it's just me and happy. We are also going to be using 3 types of seaweed today. You will need some sea moss gel, not the sea moss powder this time, but sea moss gel. And you will need agar, and most vegan people know what agar is, but it's another seaweed too, or agar, however you want to say it. But this one is KAPPA carrageenan. I'll put that right there because I can't say it correctly. But this is another seaweed too. It's a red seaweed. But we're going to use all 3 of these to make this cheese. The thing is to make it stiff enough and not jello-like, gelatin-like. So we're going to use all 3 of these. But these 2 you will have to heat. They have to be heated to at least 160 or 180. Don't quote me. But usually I bring it to a rolling boil first before I use it in my mixture. But you'll need to be ready, because as soon as you take this off the fire, it's going to start congealing. So you actually want to have all your stuff ready. Have your little containers ready that you're going to use. Put a little oil in them, and just wipe that around, not too much because you don't want it to be so much that it just your cheese be oily when you take it out. But have those ready to go, because like I say, after you heat it, as soon as you take it off the fire and when it starts cooling, you put it in a blender and you blend it up, it's going to start hardening, gelling right away, and you want to have your stuff ready to go. So those are the things you need to do in advance. If you are not alkaline and you say, why do I need to do so much prep work? Well, because you have to start from scratch. Whereas in the store, you just buy cheese, right? But they had to put a whole bunch of stuff together and do a whole lot of work to do it. So you're just paying for that convenience. For me, I'm doing all the work, but not using any cows. That's pretty much how it works in the alkaline world, because you're starting everything from scratch. Everything that you usually buy in the store, you usually have to put together yourself with the ingredients that are on the list. So let's see how this goes. First thing you're going to do is you're going to put your butternut squash and most of these things in the blender. The only thing you're not going to put in the blender is your KAPPA carrageenan and your agar and your water. So butternut squash. This is a cup of chickpeas, cooked chickpeas. 1 red roasted bell pepper. I left the skin on and everything. If you have a high-powered blender, that'll be fine because it'll pretty much blend that up. You won't be able to see it, but if not, then you can peel the skin off. It's not a problem. But if you want to, if you do, you can keep it on there and it will give you a nice little extra flavor. And then we have milk. This is my walnut milk. This is 1 cup of walnut milk. Have 1 teaspoon of key lime juice, fresh key lime juice. There's still a seed in there, but I don't care. And you got, this is a 1/2 cup, no, 1 cup or half. I have the ingredients up there already, or I'll have them up there now. Your soaked Brazil nuts and your soaked walnuts. And my walnuts are dry because I soaked them and then took them out of the water and then put them in the refrigerator. And this is a heaping teaspoon of sea moss gel. I would not use the powder. If you have the powder, I have powder too, but the powder and the other two just makes the taste a little too much for you. It's overpowering, then you have to go way over with your seasonings, which can be messed up. Alright, and this is a 1/4 cup of grapeseed oil. And my seasonings here. We got sea salt, some onion powder, we got some turmeric, we got some ginger. I always gotta have my ginger. And then over here we have just a 1/4 teaspoon of green mango powder. Just a 1/4 teaspoon. This is going to give you like that tangy, that bite to your twang, that twang to your cheese. Since we don't have sour trees with cheese, we're not fermenting this, so that's going to give you just a little twang. A lot of people use it and substitute mustard and sour products that you need to use when you're switching out stuff, but just a little bit, not too much, because it's overpowering if you do. And now we're just going to blend this up. Oh, come on, you never put this thing on right. And that is looking real thick, so what I'm going to do is put just a little bit more water in there. Ooh, it's all over the top, huh? And I'm making a mess. If you're not making a mess, are you really cooking? Alright. Already has a cheesy smell. Just going to put a little water just to make it a little more smoother. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. It's not completely smooth, but it doesn't have to be. And now, put that right there. Yeah. We have to make our agar. Wrong one. Alright, so now that that's done, we have to activate our AGAR and our CARRAGEENAN. So I have a 1.5 cups of water here, and like I said, it needs to be heated to I think between 160 and 180 at least for it to activate, but I just bring it to a rolling boil so it gets very thick. That's when you know it's activated. And this is 1 tablespoon of each. If you're doing a small batch, then definitely be wary of how much, because you don't want it to be so hard. And we're just going to stir that in. stir fast and quick because, like I say, it's going to go fast. If it stiffens up on you too fast and you don't have time, maybe you forgot to put your things together, all you have to do is put just a little bit of water and heat it up again. It will loosen up for you. You want to continuously stir this. You don't want to burn it, but you need it to congeal for you. Like I say, rolling boil, and you'll know that you got enough heat to activate it. Because what you don't want to do is waste all your product and then put this in there and it's not activated. Put it in the refrigerator and you're waiting, and when you plop it out, it just plops out. Alright, while I'm waiting for that to boil, I'm just going to turn it that way. Don't try this at home, kids. And see if I can move some of this stuff out of the way real fast before. I just told you to constantly stir it, but I'm about to walk away. Alright, starting to see some few bubbles here, so we know we're getting there. Okay, I have come to a rolling boil. I think this definitely done hit at least 160, I would say definitely the 180. And I got my containers here already, because remember, like I said, this is going to start setting once you take it off the heat. But you're going to blend it for a second because you're going to put it in with this, so it's not going to set so fast. But by the time you're pouring, it's going to set. So just be ready. Be ready. Alright, so it's already starting to congeal on itself. I don't know if you guys can see that with the steam coming out of there. But we're going to pour this in here. Oh, I'm not left-handed. Why am I doing this like this? I don't know if you guys can see, but it's already moving slow because it's starting to congeal on my spatula already. Alright, blend this up. Get the edges down there and go one more time. Okay, so now we're going to put this in our bowls. This is the only thing about this blender right here. This thing doesn't sit off in here, and if I don't take it out, it's just going to fall out and make a big mess. But I need to move quickly because Okay. You want to tap that down so it's releasing some air bubbles at the same time. Spread it out. Tap it. And tap, tap, tap. Spread it out a little bit so to get rid of those bubbles. Which mine always still have bubbles, so I don't know why I told y'all that. Okay, so now you have to put these in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. I usually leave them for about an hour or so, just give them time to really congeal and seal. And we'll be back to show you what it looks like when it comes out of the container. Alright, so it has been way longer than a couple hours. It's actually been, this is the next day for sure. More like almost 24 hours now since I put the cheese in the refrigerator. But it has firmed up, so let's just take a look. I did have most of them covered. I made an extra one just because I wanted another one. I wanted something longer and bigger, so I did make one more. But I had most of these covered. This one I did not cover, so it kind of got a little edge on it, but that's fine. So now we're just going to open these up, plop these bad boys out, and see what they look like. See, that's nice and firm. Nice and firm. Alright, and then the ones that you have covered, of course, they're going to have a little liquid from the moisture. You can easily just damp that off. Ooh. Just take a paper towel and just blot them to get the moisture off. And last one. Alright, look at that. That's nice and firm. My finger's not mushing in it. So now we are just going to slice one of these bad boys. So let's see which one we want to slice. Let's go with the block here. I'll move this so you guys can see it. And thin little slice. My slicing is not that great. So let's try that again. And look at that. That is a nice piece of cheese right there. It's pliable, not too hard. You can fold it, bend it. And you can't really see too much of the bell peppers in there, but you can see a little bit. If you don't want any flakes in it at all, don't put the bell pepper. Just do everything but the bell pepper. But the bell pepper flakes are fine with me. Has a little flakes, looks like a little seasoning in there, a little flavor. So now, I told you guys that it would be sliceable and it would be shreddable. So let's see if we can actually shred this. So I got my little grater here and I'm just going to chop off nice little block here so I can see if I can shred this. Grate this, should I say. It is not mushing, it is actually grating. And look at that. Grated cheese. Shredded cheese. So now you can have cheese on your pizza without it being just a big sauce on there. You can actually have shredded cheese on your pizza. You can put your shredded cheese in different things. Shredded cheese on your tacos now. It is meltable. Most cheeses that are made are meltable, but I'm not going to show y'all that right now because I'm not going to set up a cooking station for that. I've showed y'all block cheese, showed you a sliceable cheese, showed you a grateable cheese. So that should be good enough. But try this out, people. Make it in different shapes with whatever kind of bowls you have at home, containers. And when you put this in the refrigerator, I would say wrap it in a little saran wrap or something like that, or at least put a paper towel on it so it can under it so it can catch the moisture so it won't just be wet all around, and wrap it so it doesn't get so hard because you don't want it to really start getting you don't really want it to start getting real hard like that one right there started getting a little rind on it. But I guess that's good if you want like an aged cheese. You could actually let it sit out and get a little rind on it, but maybe I'll try that later. But now let's see if it tastes good. Definitely has that salty taste like cheese. Gives me a nice reminder of cheese. But I'm not going to say it tastes exactly like cheese because we all know that if it's not milk cheese, it doesn't taste like milk cheese. As long as it gives you a nice mouthfeel, nice taste, give you a similarity, maybe just a sense of, then you're doing good. So now I have alkaline, sliceable, shreddable, meltable cheese. This is awesome, y'all. This is going to change the game for how I can cook different things and add cheese to different things, because just having the cheese sauce kind of made it difficult when you want to make a sandwich or something like that. It would soggy my bread and all that stuff or just be dripping out. So the fact that I can have sliceable cheese that I can actually make slices and put on my sandwiches or my gyros or whatever I'm making, wraps, any of that, is awesome. So try this recipe, guys. Let me know. Oh, why I'm talking. I realized when I was looking at the footage from yesterday, the measurements that I was saying are not the correct measurements to get this amount of cheese. So make sure you actually use the measurements that are here, and I'm going to put them up again. The ones that I put up in the first time were correct because I'm editing this now probably. So I'm putting the right measurements the first time, but I'm going to put the measurements again right here just so you have the correct measurements of the ingredients, because the first one, I don't know, when I was talking, I don't know what I was thinking. I was giving you the wrong measurements. Basically, that's measurements for when I make like a small batch of cheese sauce for pasta for the night or something. But this is cheese. Use the measurements that is written on the screen and not what I said in the video. And I'm happy, y'all. I got some alkaline cheese. Alkaline cheese. Shreddable and sliceable cheese. So try the recipe like I said. You might have to give it a couple of tries to work it out. Definitely make sure you get your temperature up to like the 180 degrees just to make sure you activate all of the seaweeds in there. And taste your cheese before it starts, before you put it into the mold process. Like before you put the seaweeds in there, taste it, because you want to make sure you have enough flavor in there, because the seaweeds are going to gel up, and if you don't, then you're going to taste the seaweed versus your seasoning. But because I put quite a few seasonings in here, I don't taste the seaweeds at all. I don't taste any sea moss. I don't taste any AGAR at all. So make sure you put enough seasonings to taste, You play around with your measurements a little bit. If you don't need this much cheese, break down the recipe to a quarter or a third of the amount. But make sure you always heat it to 180 degrees, because if you don't, then your cheese is not going to sit, and that would just be a disaster and a waste of all your product and time, right? But I'm not going to keep running my mouth because I'm just so happy, y'all. And I want to go make me a sandwich now. So I made myself some deli meat the other day too. Definitely gonna make a sandwich. But until I see you guys next time, stay happy.
Butter on my stress.